Good evening, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar. I am Pranita and I will be presenting today's session on Form 16 and Form 24Q. So hope all of you are doing safe and sound. And let's wait for, we have a lot of registrations today and not surprising at all because that kind of topic this is. So let's wait for 5 more minutes for the rest to join and let's begin with the session. Thank you. To all those wondering if the webinar has started, yes, the webinar has started. We just put the session on standby, allowing the rest of the registered users to also join the session. So let's wait for a couple of more minutes so that they also join and we'll begin the session. And do not worry, yes, this session would be recorded and this would be uploaded. You can access it at any given point of time. Hello again, everyone. Thank you so much for waiting. So let's begin with the session. To all those who joined a little later, I'm Pranita. I would be presenting today's session. And along with me, we have Mr. Javed, who is available on chats. So in case you have any question during the webinar, you can just post them in the chat option here and we'll try to address your queries. All right. So I hope I am audible. So would you all mind giving me a thumbs up if that's clear? Awesome. Great. Cool. Thanks. Yes. So today's webinar session, today we'll be discussing on Form 16 and Form 24Q and what are the do's and don'ts and how do we, what are the functionalities available on Keka and how do we use those to carry on with the operations. right? So I'll just give a brief introduction to begin with, and then I'll share my screen so that and guide you accordingly. Okay. Um, let's start with Form 24Q, right? Any salaried individual, as the employer, we all are liable to pay tax to the government, right? So this tax is deducted by the employer. So this is nothing but TDS, that is tax deducted at source. Now, when employer is deducting this TDS, this will be filed to the income tax department. So this process is carried out through Form 24Q. And 24Q is the return files are generated once every quarter. So in a year, we have 4 quarters, right? April to March in the financial year, we will file 24Q 4 times. Okay. So this is all nothing but, just a textbook definition of what 24Q is and why do we do it and how do we do it. Okay. I'll quickly share my screen. Okay, so we understand how it happens on Keka and what happens, what is possible, what is not possible. Okay, just give me a confirmation once you are able to view my screen. Is my screen visible? All right, cool, wonderful, thank you. Okay, so let's see how do we navigate, how do we go to 24Q generation. So this is the Keka dashboard. So on the Keka dashboard, to the left side, you find payroll. So under payroll, I will first navigate to payroll admin. So this is where all the admin operations can be accessed. So under payroll admin, we have operations, we have accounting, and we have income tax and TDS management. So operations, as you are aware, all the overrides and all financial information can be modified from here. And let's navigate to this section, income tax and TDS management section. Okay, so this is where we will generate Form 24Q return files. So this is the path. And here, some of you must be seeing this, some of you might not be seeing this. Just give me 1 second. I think we have some request in the chat. Okay, do you want me to zoom my screen? Okay, let me zoom my screen. Is this any better? All right, wonderful. Right. So here, as you all are aware, so Keka also has an option where you can create multiple pay groups within a single account. So in that case, you would be finding a drop down called pay group where you can select individual pay group and then do 24Q filing separately, like how you run payroll separately. But for those who do not have pay groups, you will directly be seeing the financial quarter, the 4 quarters that are available and this information to the right side. All right. Now, let's see. So this is a very sample example which you are seeing. So this is a demo account. So the data is not very accurate. So for the purpose of this webinar, we will just walk you through all the steps that are available and what are the do's and don'ts and what are the most common errors we face while generating 24Q. Okay. Now, if you see, first, let's see what are the steps that are required. What is the process that goes when we are trying to file Form 24Q? The first and foremost is when TDS is deducted, and by default, the employer will pay that TDS to the income tax department against a challan. Right. So when you pay the TDS amount, say 40 lakhs of TDS has been deposited by your company, that is paid against a challan. So you will have one important information you should have is your challan details. Okay. Now we will input those challan details here and generate the FUE files. Before we proceed, I'd like to inform you of a very, very important notification here is that most of you must be thinking, right, whenever an error is generated here while generating return files, that is 24Q return files, these errors are not Keka generated errors. Okay, So I might go a little technical here. So there is something called RPU. RPU is nothing but Return Process Utility. This is something made available by the government. So Keka will be using this RPU to validate the information you as the employer will provide. So what information will you provide? You will provide your company details. That is the deductor information. What is the company that is deducting the information here? What is the PAN details? What are your address? What is the registered address? All of these basic information will be provided by you as the employer. And this validation and any error that is generated on Keka, please note that these are not Keka generated errors. These errors are generated by RPU. Okay, so the validation happens on RPU. Once this is validated, then something called FUV will be generated. That is nothing but File Validation Utility. Okay, so these are some of the terms which we wanted to inform before we proceed. Now let's see what are the steps. Now what happens? Now let's see April to June 2021. So this is the first quarter. 24Q filing happens once every quarter. Now April 2021. So now what happens is, let's click on April 2021. This is the tax deducted. So this information will be automatically fetched by Keka. Right. So when you must be processing your payroll on Keka. So by default, we have the income tax section, and as per the slab rate, whatever, be it new tax regime or old tax regime, accordingly tax will be computed by the system and TDS will be populated. And you also have the option to give the TDS value. Whatever that generated TDS values, whatever that income tax, entire complete income tax is forming for that particular month, that will be shown in this screen. So here, income tax. So for this month, it shows 0, but for May, if you observe, income tax of 20,000 rupees is automatically populated. Now, what do we do? Now, as the employer, you will definitely pay the deposit, the collected 20,000 rupees from the employees, and then you will deposit to the IT department. Now, if I click on manage here, I have options. So let me delete this. Okay, and let's see what has to happen here. Now, this is the first screen that you see when I click on manage. Now, automatically system will, let me try to zoom in a little. Yeah. So system will automatically tell. By the income tax, as all of us are aware, income tax is nothing but we have total income tax will be income tax plus surcharge plus cess. So all of this is cumulatively equal to 20,000 rupees. Now, there is a possibility that, if you are in the finance department, you must be aware, there is no compulsion that entire 20,000 has to be paid in a single challan. Because it is 20,000. If you are a larger company, there is a possibility this amount will be in lakhs, right? If you are paying this in a single challan, very well and good. But if you are not depositing this entire amount in a single challan, then we have the option called select this option if the TDS is paid in multiple challans. So however this 20,000 is deposited, you will select this. If it is 1, you'll just add challan. If it is 2, then you will just select multiple challan. You will add challan. Now what happens? Now this is the information I was talking about. Now this is the month. Then this minor head code. So we have tax payable by let me just zoom out so you can see. Yeah, so TDS payable by taxpayer, TDS regular assessment. Select TDS payable by taxpayer because TDS regular assessment is nothing but we will select TDS regular assessment when there was a shortfall in the tax deposited and you have received a notice that you have not paid this amount, and then you will do TDS regular assessment. Otherwise, if you are just going by regular filing, select TDS payable by taxpayer. Okay, now tax deducted on. This is nothing but typically the day you finalize payroll, that is the end of the month in most cases we have seen. So you can just select, if it's May, I'll just select 31st of May because that's when we deposit the salaries as well, right? So we deduct and then we deposit the salaries. Now we have bank details. Bank details is the challan serial number. So when you generate, you will have the serial number of the challan, then you will enter that here. And this payment date is nothing but the date on which you have deposited this tax that you will be selecting. And PSR branch code is the branch code, and then whatever bank you have deposited this through. All these 4 details can be selected here. Now, I want all of you to carefully focus on this next options that we see here. On my screen, you must be seeing, okay, these details are pretty clear and self-understandable, but now we have challan amount. So challan amount is, we know that, we are paying, we are giving a challan of say 20,000 rupees. Okay, this challan amount is by default system. So Keka will automatically divide this in with surcharge and cess. So although I have an option to edit the surcharge and cess, our suggestion is please do not edit the surcharge and cess, because we all are aware that any system generated income tax will have surcharge and cess by default. Now, what are the implications? Say I have a surcharge of 1748 and I make this zero. I'll tell you what is the immediate implication of this is that there will be an unmapped surcharge of 1748 rupees against this employee, whoever has that surcharge amount, right? So, and that will create errors at a later point. So our suggestion is do not, for any reason, do not edit these. Automatically system will divide, just let it be. Automatic tax will be computed. Okay, I'll just close this. Okay, once I give these details, I'll just click on next. Okay, now I'll just click here. Unmapped employees 6 are there. I'll give these details and I'll go next. Then I'll have the list of employees who are, let me try to add any dummy details. I hope I'm clear to everyone. See that you do not give dummy details just for the purpose of going next I am, but always you ensure you are giving the right details and then going next. I think there was some issue. My screen share has stopped. Let me reshare my screen. I think we have a... Yeah. So as I said, once you go next, then you'll have the list of employees. You just select the employees and then map all of them under a particular challan. Once you add the challan for all these 3 months in the quarter, then you will be able to click on generate return files. So in this sample data, we see errors. There are errors because this was already generated once, and that's why you are able to, yeah. So let me just go to ePay group. Now here, if I go to the last quarter, you see Jan to March and salary is not finalized. So for unprocessed salaries, we will not be able to generate Form 24Q in the system. So we need to have it finalized on the payroll should be finalized in the system. Only then we'll be able to generate the return files. So here you must be seeing regenerate because an attempt was made to generate. That's why we have, and there are errors, and then we need to regenerate. Now for March, you don't, for last quarter, you don't see that because this was not generated at all. Okay. Now these are the basic steps involved in generating a return file. So we add the challan details, and next let's click on regenerate for now. Now the first step. So from in Keka, it's also made available. Form 24Q generation guide is available. In case you would like to have it handy, please download it from here. Now let's see what are the details required here. Now include employees having nil TDS return. So we also have a lot of people who are not taxpayers, but they also can submit their returns. So in that case, if you want to include all such people, then you can select include employees having nil TDS returns, or if you'd like to exclude, you can just let it be. Okay. Now exclude employees having zero gross earnings in Form 24Q. So we've seen most people exclude this. So for any reason, if the salary in any particular month is zero for people, then you can just simply exclude them in this while generating Form 24Q. Now, after this, then we have type of deductor. So type of deductor, you all are companies. So type of deductor will be company here. Then payment made, payment section code is nothing but payment made to employees. Next, token number of previous regular statement. So you have a regular statement. This will be available. All of this information will be available on your Traces website, on your account on the Traces website. So you can just refer to that and give this information. Then we have upload CSI file. So this also will be is made available on your TIN account, TIN-NSDL account. So you can go there, and if basis TAN visibility or any other company information you give, you can download the CSI file, and that CSI file should be included here. This CSI file is generated, say if you are doing for April to June, of course the start and end date will be April 2021 to end of June 2021. And accordingly, CSI file will be here. So I can have like a sample CSI file. So this will typically contain information of your organization. So if you give your TAN details, you can download the CSI file, the organization details, and who's the authorized signatory on all of that, you'll get it from here. Then after you give these details, you'll just click on save and next. So here we will give the company. This is deductor details. Deductor is nothing but your organization. So what is your TAN number? Who's the deductor's name, your company's name, PAN number of the company, and registered email ID. You must be the most common error, which we will go to in about 5 minutes from now, is by what is the error, most common error we see. These details should be aligned with what is given in your Traces website. All right, so ensure that there is no mismatch. Now we have an important checkbox here. Registered address of the company, that is deducted, change from the last TDS return. So if there is no change, you do not check this. If there is any change, only then check this information. Okay, then save and continue. This is the responsible person. Okay, responsible person is the authorized signatory. Authorized signatory, or when you register a company, you'll have the authorized. This is that person's details. Now, once you enter all these information, the address, phone number, PIN code, and everything, you can just click on save and generate FUV. For now, I'm not generating because let's understand the errors, most common errors we get here. So if you see, when I click on save and generate, there is a possibility that if it is successful, well and good. But if not, then if you see that it says error identified, and if you click here, you can view the error. Here you see that there is an error, and the statement type is TAN of deductor or collector or organization ID are invalid. So invalid ID is given, so valid details must be provided. Hence we suggest you once review this with what information is available on Traces, and then give it as it is. So we have address 1, in different line, address 1, address 2, address 3. How is it given there? See that you give the same details here as well. So in case one catch here is that you might be there must be a situation where you have given all the right details, but still you are getting this error, right? So in that case, there is a possibility that FUV version gets updated on a regular basis. Okay, in case it gets updated by the officials, then maybe that is also one of the reasons why we get this error. Then you can reach out to Keka support, and they will help you with this. They'll help you rectify this error. I hope I'm making sense. Yes, no, maybe. Wonderful, thank you so much. Yeah. So that's about Form 24Q, and this is just one error. And along with that, there is one more error I wanted to highlight, is that with employees who exited who exit in the middle of the financial year, or when they exit at the say they exited in March or February, but their F&F is settled in the next financial year. So what is the whole concept of what happens when somebody exits in the middle? So say Pranita is an employee in your organization, and Pranita exited in the month of August. Okay, but Pranita's F&F is done or settled in the month of October. Then, of course, because we are settling it in October, be it through payroll or set, because we are feeding that information in the system, saying this belongs to October's payroll. So, of course, there the income tax details of this employee will be visible under October month only. Okay, so accordingly, so when you are mapping and unmapping, just just have a check on the exited employees as well and map them correctly. Okay, and when in case of rejoining also, so in any of these cases, right, you can without any hesitation you can reach our support, and we will try to help you identify this issue so you can rectify the same at your end. Okay, and the third most important issue we see is with incorrect PAN number. Okay, by default, if it's a person, the fourth letter of the PAN will be P, right? But sometimes, maybe initially we have seen most cases where maybe you have given dummy details during when the employee is onboarded, and later maybe it was forgotten, or for any reason that detail is not changed, and system will throw an error saying incorrect PAN number. So this is also another important thing you all have to ensure is checked. So if the fourth digit is not P, P is nothing but P indicates a person. So in case it is not person and if it is C, then this creates huge error in terms of tax deduction, because if it's not a person, almost 20% or even more tax has to be deducted as per compliances. So just ensure that the PAN details are correctly given. Now, how do you check? There is only one error, well and good. But if there are multiple errors, what has to be done is that here, if you see, you can download the error file. You can download the error file. When you download, you will get a zip folder. In that, you can line item will be mentioned. So on my screen, you can see that line number is given as 1. So in the 24Q file, which means in line number 1, there the error is missing. If this line number is 96, in your 96th line, there is some error. So that has to be corrected. So this is just a quick check for your understanding, which you can see and rectify, and directly jump on that error and try to rectify the same. Okay. Now, so that's about 24Q generation in Keka. Okay. Meanwhile, okay, I see there are a lot of questions in the chat, so I'll just quickly try and address a few. Correct. So Mayank, yeah. So what happens when correct? So Mayank had raised a very good point. So in impact of F&F, if F&F is settled in April, but the employee exited in March. One immediate thing you can do, Mayank, here is that when you are mapping, when we click on manage and we get the list of employees, right? Please see that you do not map this employee, because when you are doing Q1, you will not face any error. But when you're doing Q4, when you are filing Q4, you will get an error, because the employment of this employee who exited will be invalid in the current financial year. Because the employee's last working days and last financial year, employee was not even available, was employed in your organization in that financial year. So see that you unmap this person and then you generate return files for that month, or you can, if you reach out to us. So if you by any chance, if you are getting this error in Q4 for that year, then from the backend we'll try to enable it, and so you can unmap that employee. Okay. So I hope I answered your question. Yes, James, it is. So we have cess and surcharge have to be paid. Okay, if you skip TDS calculation for April, then how will system take for the next 2 months in the first quarter? So, Ashik, what do we mean by skipping TDS calculation? So typically what this means is that we are overriding the TDS to zero. So that's how we skip, because automatically there is no way TDS will be skipped, right? Which means we are overriding. We are saying there is no tax in April. So by default, system will automatically adjust. So for example, if Pranita is liable to a tax of 12,000 in the year, which is 1,000 per month. If my April TDS is overridden to zero from 1,000, the 12,000 will be automatically adjusted in the next 11 months. So this is what I'm talking at the employee to employee level. But overall, if you might have seen, right, in one particular month here, in the month of April, the tax deducted is zero. So in that case, there is no due amount only, and whatever is deducted. So this information, Ashik, is nothing but whatever is fed in the system. So in the month of May, if you have collected a tax of say 43 lakhs, that 43 lakhs will be shown here. Okay, can we file 124Q for different pay groups? No, Bhima. So we will have to generate return files separately for individual pay groups. The reason being, you are processing the payroll also differently. So we are not processing the same, right? The legal entity details and everything will be same. Okay. Yes, you will get the recorded session. This recorded session will be available on YouTube as well. Okay, if we have onboarded in Keka in February 22, but we have uploaded April to March. Okay. Yes, you can. You can just, but if the payroll information is available, you can. You will not get the detailed breakup as such, but whatever data dump is done, so accordingly, so you can do it. All right, cool. So we might be running a little out of time. I'll definitely get back to the questions. I will try to answer them. Now, so that's pretty much about 24Q. Now let's understand Form 16 part of this. Okay, now what is Form 16? Okay, so one part of tax management is done through 24Q. So by doing 24Q returns, we are telling the government, okay, boss, we have deducted the TDS and we have duly submitted whatever amount we have collected from the employees. Now, how do employees take the benefit out of it? What is the proof and everything? So Form 16 then comes to our rescue. Form 16 is nothing but it's like a certification of deduction of TDS. Okay, and this also can be used as a proof while we are doing TDS returns. Okay, and this Form 16 has two parts, Part A and Part B, right? So Part A is nothing but, Part A is more like a certificate of TDS. So this will contain information about your company, the deductor information, what is the PAN, what is the TAN, what is your PAN, what is the organization name, who is the authorized signatory. All this basic info, all the not basic but very very important information will be available in Form 16 Part A. What is Form 16 Part B? Part B is more like an annexure. This will have all the numbers, all our hard work for the entire year, whatever we have earned, whatever we have paid the government through TDS, all of this, all our other income information will be available in Part B. Now Part A and Part B, both of them can be accessed from Keka. I'm sorry, from Trace's website. So since this is authorized, Part A is anyway by default only available on Traces. Since it's authorized, we suggest we have you download both Part A and Part B from the Traces website, and then you can do the signatures on Keka. Now, how do we do that? Okay. Now let's see what is the path, where do we access Form 16 and everything. So I'll have to go to payroll. Under payroll, the last option, that is Form 16. Okay, now here we have two modules, that is summary and then generator tool, right? Now, under summary will have, again, if you have multiple pay groups, for different pay groups, you'll have different, you can just switch and then accordingly generate, and you'll select the financial year. and then you will see the list of employees that are available under this pay group for this financial year. Okay. Now, what is generator tool? How do we do it? Now, I'll just switch to generator tool here. Under this generator tool, so generator tool is nothing but it's an external application, Keka application, which can be downloaded, and that can be used to sign all of your Form 16. So at the end of the financial year, the employer provides signed Form 16 to all the employees. So that is possible through generator tool. And important information to note here is that this generator tool is compatible with Windows system, Windows XP and higher versions only. Okay, so Mac users, unfortunately, you would not be able to use this yet. Okay, now let's see what are the steps involved in generating Form 16 and digitally signing it. Okay, I'll just switch my tab. Okay, now, so this information is also accessible if you are an authorized admin from Keka itself. So you can download this guide and you can go through and follow the steps to generate Form 16. Right? Now, Form 16 can, of course, this can only be generated, accessed by the global admin and payroll admin only, not by HR managers, not by any other privileged users. And when we are digitally signing, we will require USB token. So you must be having USB token, and you will have to use that to digitally sign these Form 16s. No. So how do we, the path has already been mentioned. So you will have to navigate to payroll. Under payroll, you will find Form 16, and then you will switch to generator tool. And then from here, you'll just click on this button, download Form 16 generator tool. So once you download this, then this is how the wizard will look like. You will just click on next and then complete the setup. Once this setup is completed, you log in with your Keka credentials. After you log in, so this is how the screen will look like. Okay, so here again, you have multiple pay groups. You'll have, okay, I'll just try to zoom in a little. I hope this is better now. Right, great. So again, you can switch, you can manage different pay groups Form 16 from a single generator tool. You will just have to switch to the correct pay group from here. Okay, so here you will have the list of all people who are working, who are relieved, everybody's information will be available from here. Now, first, before you get home and settings, please navigate to settings first. Now, we have Form 16 settings. In this Form 16, there are a few options that are available. So you can just check and uncheck according to your requirement. The first one says include Form 12BA. So Form 12BA, it's another additional statement. If you're looking to have that also included in your Form 16, you can just select that, or if you would like to let it be, you can uncheck this, leave it unchecked. Next is include Form 16 annexure. That is statement of allowances and other parts. So, as I said, right, by default, Part A is anyway available on Traces. Now, Part B, authenticated Part B is also available on Traces. But if you would like to go with the Keka generated Part B, please select include Part B generated from Keka. But if you are uploading what is downloaded from Traces, choose the first option, upload Part B generated from Traces. Our suggestion is that you go with the authenticated version. Since government itself made it available for all the employers, you can use both Part A and Part B generated from Traces. Now, next, exclude employee previous employment details while generating Form 16 Part B. So this is nothing but if somebody joined in the middle of the financial year in your organization and they were employed elsewhere before joining your organization. If you don't want to include their previous income, you can click on exclude. Or if you have their previous income and if you want that also to be recorded, you can uncheck this. Now, enable password protection for Form 16. So this happens when, if once the Form 16 is generated and sent, if you It's like how we have payslips on Keka, right? So if you want enable password protection, they'll have to give their PAN number in the correct order. So it has to be in capitals. So we cannot go with lowercase letters. We should give everything in uppercase and the right PAN card number so that they can access their Form 16. So if you want to enable password protection, you can enable here. Now, who is the authorized person? So, authorized person is that person who will sign, whose signature will be given in the Form 16. So, you will just give. Now, here you will select sign Form 16 documents digitally. So, if you select this, you will have to have USB token so that your forms get digitally signed by the system. Okay, so if you check this option, sign Form 16 documents digitally, then once you go to your home, then you will have, when you can click on generate Form 16. So on the top left side, you will see digital signature, right? You can just click on detect. Okay, when you click on detect, so it's nothing but it's like it's something like a pen drive. Okay, you'll just once you insert it, system will automatically detect the available certificates. You can just select that certificate and you can authenticate it and you can save it. Okay, once that is done, then once you click on generate Form 16, the first option it will ask is, of course, upload part A. So this part A can be downloaded from places, and this is a zip folder. This zip folder and employee to employee differentiation will happen automatically because the file name will be nothing but employee's PAN detail. Okay, so it will be respective employee's PAN number. Then you can upload Form 16 Part A, so that automatic mapping happens. So if you are uploading Pranita's Form 16 Part A, automatically that will the file will have my PAN number, so that, and it's unique, so that will automatically map to me. Next with Part B generation. So if you are uploading it, then you can upload that as well. So once Part A and Part B both are uploaded, then you can just click on generate. So then after you generate, this is how it looks like. So document signing happens automatically. So this would take a few minutes. Then you can see 23 out of 78 it shows, right? How many of our employees are there? One by one, it will be it will turn green color, and it will be, once it is signed successfully, then all of this will turn into green. Once that is done, you can just happily you can sit back and this is done. All the files are signed successfully. And after this is done, where are these made available? So now your exercise with the Keka generator tool is done. So once all of these are signed successfully, once you receive this message, you can go back to your Keka account. So under Keka account, you can switch to summary, and summary, once the uploading is successful, automatically here currently it shows not uploaded, right? But instead, once the uploading is done, you will see the Form 16s automatically available here, the signed ones. And same with Part A and Part B. So from here, you can either download all of this in bulk. Okay, bulk download Form 16, and otherwise from here as well, you can share it with the employees. Am I clear? So these are nothing but these are the basic settings which we had seen in Form 16 generator tool. So, whether you want to include something or exclude something can be done from here. Okay, so total Form 16 sign and all of that can be done from here. Now, most important thing here is that one is, can we share Form 16 with employees in Keka? Yes, we can share Form 16 with all the employees in Keka through email. Okay, so it can be done through email, and this will be sent to all the active employees and not relieved employees. So relieved employees, there is no communication that can happen from the system. But for relieved employees, you can, however, download. Like you can still generate, you can sign, and you can download at any given point. Okay, but you cannot automatically, system would not be able to send Form 16 to relieved, that is exited employees. Okay, and one more most important thing while I was doing this is that uh, what happens, say you had generated 24 and there is some error. What happens when you had mapped wrong pan, and you will need to correct that, right? So this important exercise is called correction filing. Okay, this is also very important. Correction filing is where I have generated form 24q already, but there are some errors and I need to redo that. So then we need to, and this is when it is already done, filed, and dusted and closed. It is marked as closed, but again, you are looking to correct it. And there are different types of corrections. There are actually more than 50 types of correction file. Maybe due to incorrect details or due to incorrect amount or for any reason, right? Correction filing has to be done. One important information is nobody provides correction filing except for official website. So all the correction filing has to happen on official Traces website. All right. So because be it, if it's C1 correction or C2 correction, the file format varies from correction type to correction type. So this is only possible on through the website and nowhere else. So in case you're looking to do any sort of correction filing, please contact your finance department and get this exercise completed on the official Traces website. All right. So that was pretty much about Form 16 and 24Q on Keka and the best practices and most commonly occurred errors. So I'll stop sharing my screen and we have 5 more minutes. Okay. What if uploaded salary working till September, October 21 onwards? That's okay, Adava. We can still, there is high possibility that you might have started using Keka in the middle, right? So you can still, that's not a problem. Okay. And let me just scroll a bit. Okay, how are we mapping employees in Form 24Q? So when you click on manage, right, when you give your challan details, the second step, you will get all the list of employees for that respective month where tax was deducted. Basically, all the active employees where TDS was deducted. From there, you can just check and uncheck whoever you'd like to unmap. You can just uncheck and then you can save it. Got it. The education cess right now is 190 on 192B salaries is 4%, but if the buy is Keka calculating 3%. Okay. Where exactly? I think this is a specific use case related Jairam Krishna. So otherwise, education cess is nothing but it's just 1%, and then total it makes up to 3%, so it varies. So this is use case. So if you find any discrepancies, would you be happy to address that specific use case? I'm sure you must be referring to one particular case where it is 4% but it's showing 3.5. So all of that details, all the calculations and everything are compliant and as per the rules. So, but if there's any, it could be because of configuration or maybe we might be missing out on something. In that case, we request if you could. Hmm. Yeah, sure. You could. We'd be happy to help. You can just drop to support at Keka, and then we would be able to help you with the same. Correct. You're right, Karan. Okay, what if we have reversed the TDS deducted in through ad hoc payment rather than TDS override? How will the system take the TDS? I'm not sure I follow this yet. If we take, if we have reversed the TDS deducted in April 2022 through ad hoc payment uh, rather than TDS override. So, Ashik, I'm not sure if we are following this. Reverse the TDS deduction as in, okay, you're saying, say you have deducted 10,000 rupees of TDS, but again paid it back, right? So system would not automatically pick it up because we are not making an override. So ideally, the right practice to do this is that to override the TDS itself. What we are doing is we are giving system an additional input. So if I am getting an ad hoc payment, that's if my salary is say 70,000, 75,000, and I'm getting 5,000 of ad hoc payment, my gross for that month becomes 80,000, but that doesn't mean my TDS has reduced. So we are not giving the right input here, rather we are giving one more additional income what salary component for the employee. So automatically, it would not take because system will still have the same TDS amount. Right, right. But that would actually be not the right approach as well, because when we are giving the cross and CTC, uh, right? So when we are giving the amount, system will automatically populate as per the slab rate, right? So if you are looking to make changes in that, the ideal way is to uh, modify the source itself rather than making adjustment. So if you are able to adjust also, as I said, right, I'm increasing my income, so I might be liable to more tax because I received more income. So that's about it. Anyway, I think that brings us to the end of today's session. Thank you so very much, everyone. It was wonderful interacting with all of you after a really long time. We hope you found this session helpful. So the recording for this will be made available on YouTube. So we suggest you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Additionally, you can also, as I said, right, enough resources are made available in the UI itself, especially to understand how to do Form 16 and Form 24Q. So we encourage you to see that. And then in case of any assistance, support is always there. So you can reach out to us as well. So we're signing off for today, and we have the next session again next week. So see you all next week. Bye bye, everyone. Take care and have a wonderful weekend.